You told Carl Ravitch here on ESPN last week that you felt 100% certain that there will be a season this year. How do you feel today?
Well, I know the owners are 100% committed to getting baseball back on the field. Unfortunately, I can't tell you that I'm 100% certain that's going to happen. I had been hopeful that once we got to common ground on the idea that we were going to pay the players full prorated salary, that we would get some cooperation in terms of proceeding under the agreement that we negotiated with the MLBPA on March 26th. Unfortunately, over the weekend, while Tony Clark was declaring his desire to get back to work, the union's top lawyer was out telling reporters, players, and eventually getting back to owners that as soon as we issued a schedule, as they requested, they intended to file a grievance claiming they were entitled to an additional $1 billion. Obviously, that sort of bad faith tactic makes it extremely difficult to move forward in these circumstances.
What are your concerns for the optics of this circumstance playing out as publicly as they are during the time in this country where all the other things, the confluence of events involving the pandemic and protest in the streets and everything else, of this playing out as publicly as it is?
It's just a disaster for our game. Absolutely no question about it. It shouldn't be happening. And it's important that we find a way to get past it and get the game back on the field for the benefit of our fans.
Would you describe your feelings as confident that there will still be a season?
I'm not confident, Mike. I think there's real risk, and as long as there's no dialogue, that real risk is going to continue.
Not confident. Baseball insider Jeff Passan joining us now with much more on this story. Jeff, we just heard the commissioner cast doubt on the 2020 season being played. Is this more posturing, or could this become a reality?
Kevin, Rob Manfred put it better than I possibly could. It's just a disaster. And the way that this entire thing has unfolded over the last couple of months, ending up here just 5 days after he said 100% baseball is going to be back, is really the pièce de résistance on that disaster. Now, do I think there's going to be baseball when it's all said and done? I do, because it still makes sense that if Rob Manfred is admitting that we are ready to pay them prorated salaries, then the union is going to come and say, okay, let's set a schedule, let's figure it out. There is posturing going on right now. There is saber rattling going on right now. And when it's all said and done, I would like to believe that both sides recognize that a year without baseball, for absolutely no good reason, would be the disaster of all disasters for both.
Okay, and you're giving us that hope there short term, but from all the back and forth publicly through these statements and these leaks we've seen in the last month, what will be the long-term effects as the CBA expires next year?
Yeah, and I don't even know if we need to flash that far ahead, Kevin. I think over the next few months, as the parties try and discuss what baseball during the pandemic is going to look like, what baseball post-peak pandemic would look like, if there are going to be no fans in the stands at the beginning of 2021, what free agency is going to look like this offseason. The contention between the sides right now, Kevin, is higher and deeper than it has been since 1994. This is the worst the relationship has been, and you see, I mean, it is just not like Rob Manfred to come out and publicly call out union officials like that, and yet he did that with the union negotiator Bruce Meyer. He did that with Tony Clark, and he's saying that they are operating in bad faith, which is as harsh of a charge as one lawyer can put to another.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.